Will you stand with me? We will be the change that we hope to see. In the name of love, in the name of peace. Will you stand with me?
Yeah!
I'm here because something is afoot.
Jacob, no doubt you and Faiz connected. You have a question for Faiz while we wait for Hakeem.
Actually, I wanted to tell Faiz something, and the rest of the boys. I wanted to tell them thank you for their struggle for peace in Afghanistan, and thank you for accepting me, a veteran of the Afghan war, as a brother, and treating me as human, because I certainly wasn't. I wasn't able to do the same thing when I was their age, and it's amazing that they've been able to show this to me, and their love changed me, and it helped me heal, and it's still helping me heal, and I just want to thank every single one of you, and I think almost everyone in this country can learn a great lesson from you.
And for the first time in a very long time, there really does seem to be true potential to rejuvenate a movement in the United States.
He's joining us for 5 minutes!
Being a New Yorker, it was easy to go to Occupy Wall Street. And I was asked to come down here, but we know that demonstrations, which now call themselves occupations, are occurring all over the country. A big one in Boston, a big one in Los Angeles. Chicago is mounting a big occupation, and every place in between. So it would be impossible. You'd have to be a hell of an occupation tourist to see all of them, and that's part of the wonderment of it all. It's a kind of recognition that Wall Street, that finance capital, is the hegemon today. And we're talking about a class of people that makes nothing except money. They even create their own money in the form of derivatives, which are now nominally valued at between $600 and $1,000 trillion. And if you understand that the gross planetary product, that is the value of all the goods and services created by mankind every year, is between 60 and 70 trillion dollars. But we're talking about derivatives that are 10 or 15 or more times in nominal values the economy of the real world. Clearly, Wall Street is absolutely disconnected from the real economy of the world. More than that, it is an enemy of the real economy of the world. It is an enemy of the productive forces of the world.
The 99% of us who are not the ultra-wealthy are being told that this breakdown, this chaos, this malfunction of society is a result of natural forces at work, that there's nothing to be done. This is a lie. The corporate state is demanding ownership of everything. Our education system, our economy, our government, everything. To this, there's really only one answer to these corporate thugs. Go fuck yourself!
In the United States, what they are engaged in a frenzy, is to financialize or monetize every resource of the state they can get their hands on. They've targeted every component of the state except the security apparatus and those elements of the state that are useful to them in transferring wealth to the financial class, to Wall Street. That is the overarching situation, and a response to that overarching situation is one that can unite all the various constituencies of what should be a left in the United States.
I think we all have to thank Mohammed Bouazizi for setting a lot of things in motion. And he's from a town called Sidi Bouzid in Tunisia. And my greatest hope is that we can follow the Tunisian model right here.
And so this Wall Street occupation and the other occupations that are going on, all of which have the rule of finance capital at the top of the agenda, is a very good sign. Well, the Tea Party is bankrolled by the oligarchy, by billionaires. It's really incorrect to compare the Tea Party and a grassroots movement of the left. They're not just apples and oranges, they're completely different forms of life. One is just an extension of the Republican Party. Understand that the Republican Party is the party of big business. Now, the Democratic Party is also dominated now, and increasingly so, by finance capital. But the Republican Party has never had any reason for being except to serve big business. It has a problem, though. There are very few big businessmen. You don't have an electoral base based on business. So they pull together their electoral base through, frankly, racism. It is the white man's party. It is the party of racists. And the Tea Party is the most distilled version of that. And so as they found themselves in a precarious electoral position after the 2008 balloting, they revved up their mass racist base in the form of the Tea Party. But it's all paid for by the oligarchs.
So now what we're talking about?
Imperialism!
Make that CD player run continuously, my brother. So look, we got a little issue going on down here in DC. With the world's biggest motherfucking predator coming out. Hey! I say Walmart's coming to Georgia Avenue uptown. Ain't that something? Small businesses, shop owners, hearts pumping. They know their livelihood about to take a thumping seat. You can't compete with a superstar who's an importer of slave labor.
Yeah, well, the second DLC president is the one sitting in the White House right now. The first one was Bill Clinton, who was one of the founders of the DLC. Understand, the DLC was created by white Democrats in the South when they saw that because of the attrition of white Southerners, white Democrats to the Republican Party, white Democratic leaders were losing their popular base. They were losing it to black folks. They went into a panic, especially in 84 and 88 when Jesse Jackson was running for president, because his campaigns were actually huge black voter registration drives. And so these white Democrats like Bill Clinton and like Al Gore, he was a partner in this crime, saw the handwriting on the wall. How could they maintain control of the party when these parties in the South were becoming, or already were, black parties? So they called on big corporations so that they could become the people who controlled the purse strings. So if they control the purse strings of the Democratic Party through these huge corporate contributions, well then they could control the masses of black elected officials who were coming up, because they needed money. And that was the formula. And it was a winning formula for them, and that's how Bill Clinton became the first DLC president. We first became introduced, that is the Black Agenda Report team, back when we were Black Commentator. We were first introduced to Barack Obama when his name in the summer of 2003 showed up on the membership list of the DLC. It was shocking to find him there because he was supposed to be a new, somewhat progressive sounding, up-and-coming black politician, but there he was already recruited by the DLC. And we knew that nothing good could come of that. And we've been investigating, scrutinizing him intensely ever since.
So there's a part for you, because the revolution sings. Here's your part.
Have you ever been on Jon Stewart or the Colbert Report, ever?
No.
Do you think you ever will be?
I doubt it. I'm not funny enough for Colbert or for Stewart.
I walked 200 miles to join this occupation, and I decided to walk because the October2011.org, I read about their occupation a couple of months ago, and I found out that they had been promoting it for 6 months. And I said, well, why haven't I heard about it? Because it's exactly what I wanted.
Either you taste, feel, and smell the intoxication of freedom and revolt, or sink into the miasma of despair and apathy. Either you are a rebel or a slave.